Hello. So, this is one I wasn't really expecting to see, but my plans for the evening changed kind of last minute. So I'm sitting at home and I'm like, it's Saturday night, and you feel kind of weird sitting home by yourself. So it was like I felt like I had to do something. So for me, that means these days that means go to the movies. Um, and I saw this one was still playing, and I had gotten all these rave reviews and whatnot. So I figured I should go see it. Not only had it gotten a lot of rave reviews, but it starred someone who I genuinely believe is one of the finest actors working today. I say a lot on this show. I always go, I like her, but I've never really seen her in a movie I liked, or that person I don't know much about, or something. So I really wanted to see this one because, I genuinely like Natalie Portman. I think Natalie Portman is a really, really fine actor, almost like, kind of an actor that belongs to a different age almost. She strikes me a lot of the time as, kind of a more of a 40s actor. I don't know, just old Hollywood in a good way. I like the way she carries herself. I like the dignity she has, and I was like, okay, she's going to bring a lot of that to this role. All right. So I was genuine. I wasn't so much excited, but I was optimistic about this one, and I'm sad to say I can't come out of this one going I enjoyed it. Now, this one is different from, say, something like Manchester by the Sea, which I was also looking forward to. That one made me mad, as most people will attribute who have watched that video. This one disappoints me more than I think it makes me mad. It suffers from two things, in my opinion. The first of which is something I've criticized a lot on here. Again, I criticized it a lot in the Manchester by the Sea review. It suffers from over-directing. Maybe it's me, and I'm sure I'm guilty of this too, and I'm sure anybody who's been directed by me will probably say, no, that's, he's full of it. But I think a director's hand in the production needs to be kind of invisible to an audience. I think the focus should always be on how do you tell the story and how do you get it across. I think what you find with a lot of these either younger directors or these independent film directors or these somewhat unknown directors, they want so bad for their directorial choices and their directorial style to become part of the American lexicon, a part of the American consciousness, that they over direct the movie. And I really feel that the director of this one, Pablo, I'm afraid I don't know his last name, but whatever, he over-directs this film. There is just so much stuff going on here, so many different choices all over the place, and I some of them are good. Like, some of it, the film intercuts with real footage, from that point, or footage doctored up to look like real footage. But when they're doing scenes, sometimes it has like this grainy texture to it, like you're still watching old footage. And I thought that was a neat touch. That was kind of cool. But aside from that, the film jumps all over the place in time. It jumps backwards and forth within this span of a few days and weeks. It bounces back and forth all over, so it's hard to keep track of where everything's happening. The movie kind of has this framing device of Jackie Kennedy being interviewed by some guy, and For a lot of it, for a long time, they don't appear, the interviewer and Jackie don't appear in the same shot together. It's always close-up of her face, close-up of his face, close-up of her face, close-up of his face. So they're not interacting. And I felt that was an odd choice, but that's kind of the way it is with this entire movie. And that leads me to kind of my next problem of Over. And I really hate to say this because I really, really like Natalie Portman. But I think this film suffers from some overacting. This is a weird statement to say. Sometimes I wish when we do biopics that we could go back in time a little bit to like the 1930s and 40s when they made movies about people back then. Yeah, they were a little bit over glamorized, but what I liked is that, like a good example, Jimmy Stewart once played George Gershwin, I believe, but he was Jimmy Stewart. He still had that Jimmy Stewart kind of thing going on. He didn't try to put on an accent to sound like George Gershwin. It was Jimmy Stewart playing George Gershwin. Nowadays, though, when we do biopics, especially about such recognizable public figures, the actors feel so compelled they have to do the accents, they have to look exactly right, they have to have all the mannerisms, and what it comes off looking like a bad impersonation or a bad impression than a performance. And she really wanted to make sure, I'm not even doing the accent or the dialect incredibly right, but she was trying so hard to make it sound like the real Jackie that what she came off sounding like was Marilyn Monroe playing Jackie Kennedy. I don't know if that's how Jackie Kennedy actually talked. I'm assuming that's how she actually talked. But for this movie, it made her so... You couldn't get into the performance because she was so intent on doing the accent and doing the vocal inflections instead of just acting. Which is funny because... And here's why it's funny. Because the guy, I believe it was Peter Skarsgård. I tried to stay through the credits to see. But the guy playing Bobby Kennedy in this, normally when you see the Kennedys done in any kind of film adaptation, they always do the really bad Boston accent. We can't do that with her, but Hoover. We got it being on this and that. I'm doing the wrong Kennedy right there. But they always do them with these really overblown, New England accents. But they didn't do that this time. He actually was just talking. And because of that, his performance was better than hers because she was so intent on getting that accent and that inflection right that it didn't work. It didn't bloody work, and it was painful to sit through. Moreover, and this kind of links back to what I was saying before, is that except in very rare occasions, there's one scene I'm going to talk about in a second where this is not the fact. Maybe I'm having nostalgia cloud my vision a little bit. You can't see me kind of thing. But with one or two exceptions, they gave Natalie Portman nobody to act off of. 90% of the movie when she's not, or 50% of the movie I should say, when she's not talking and doing the terrible accent, she's walking around just looking, dazed and just looking at things and everything is just, sensory overload. And I get what they're going for. When something like that happens, when a tragic thing like that happens right in front of you, that your abilities to process are greatly, greatly impaired. I get that. I get what they were going for. But my issue is that's not... You can't have a whole movie of someone doing that. That's a scene in a movie. That's not the entire film. And that was almost the entire film of her just kind of, Now, the only place this is not true, the only times when they did give her something, a couple scenes of the guy playing Bobby Kennedy were decent. But, and again, this could be nostalgia, because, or rose-colored glasses. Because this is the second time in not a long stretch where I've gone and seen a movie where one of the performers in it has just recently passed away. And John Hurt is in this movie, the late John Hurt, who passed away. As I'm recording this, he passed away yesterday. And they get to his scene, and I'm just like, I nearly burst into tears seeing him up on screen again. It was like, oh my God. It's like, I don't know, it's just weird. And the scenes with him, and again, maybe just that sense of seeing an actor that I really respect and really looked up to, back up there one last time and kind of going, oh my God. But it felt like the scenes she had with him, because he was playing a priest that she was meeting with to kind of talk things over, it seemed like those scenes, because they lasted a little bit, because there was actual conversation going on, those scenes almost got me into the movie. Those scenes almost got me there. Because you have two really great actors working off each other. It didn't quite get there. I can't say that this was, the greatest swan song for one of the world's greatest living actors, or not living anymore, I'm sorry to say, but you know what I mean. But I will say that in a movie where there was no personal connection and no acting between people going on, it was nice to see those scenes where there actually was, if that makes any sense at all. And again, I don't know if that is just because I'm such a fan of John Hurt, and just seeing him, like I say, it's like, it's like a message from beyond. But yeah, I was disappointed in this one. And here's I think is the biggest disappointment, at least from my perspective. And the movie got a little bit better towards the end, I should say. I think it started out, it took a long time. This is one of the shortest movies I've seen in a while, and yet it felt incredibly long. It felt incredibly drawn out. And I think that's because you couldn't make any connection to anything, any emotional connection. You're too busy trying to figure out where we are in time and space, and what's happening, but here's the biggest problem I felt is I feel like I don't know any more about Jackie Kennedy now than I did when I went into the film. I don't feel like it didn't tell us much about her life, about at least in my opinion. The central theme seems to be, a woman who saw her husband literally murdered in front of her. It's going to be hard for her to get over that. Well, I'm sorry to say this, I kind of already know that. I don't know anything more about her. And I don't know, and that's the problem with these films, especially films around the Kennedy assassination. There are certain points in history that there are a lot of movies made about. All right? And you can't separate what is fact from what is fiction anymore. I don't know how much of this is true. So I don't feel like I know anything more about the woman than I did when I went in. Now, maybe that's because maybe this movie isn't for me. Maybe this is for the next generation who don't know as much or haven't, been exposed to all this, the news about the Kennedy assassination. It's not like this is something I actively research. It's just stuff I picked up from, history classes and, other films based on the subject and whatnot. So maybe this is for the next generation to introduce them to her and kind of what she went through. But I, through History Channel, A&E, biographies, this, that, and the other thing, I know all of this. There's nothing in here that you're like, oh wow, this movie just showed me a whole new light to this person. So that's me. Maybe if you're younger and you don't know as much about this, you haven't been exposed to it as much, then maybe you'll get more out of this. Maybe this will humanize her a little bit more for you. I don't know. I can't judge someone else's reaction. I'm just saying, for me, it didn't feel like this movie had anything to say about Jackie, aside from the fact that, dealing with the immediate murder of your husband is really hard, which not an easy message, not an unsympathetic one for sure, but not exactly new in the context of this story, of what we're looking at, So this one, I think, and it had a lot of the pieces. It had a lot of things that could have worked. If you just wanted to tell a story about Jackie Kennedy from his assassination to the funeral, then just tell that damn story. Don't do this overly dramatic, cutting all around, very invasive directing, very obnoxious music too. The music in this was so obnoxious. I hate it. I haven't heard music this obnoxious since Batman v Superman. Really wanted to, highlight this sad moment. Really wanted to punch you in the gut with it. You want to tell that story, then tell that story, but don't do it in this, just hyped up on drugs, over the top directing and over the top acting. And you have a good actor to do this, and I don't know, just the whole thing didn't work for me. And I'm sorry to say that, because I wanted to like this movie. I love the actor. God bless John Hurt. We're gonna miss him and all of his brilliance. But it just didn't get there for me. So, if it gets there for you, if you got something out of it, then bravo. Then it did its job. But for me, it didn't do it. So I'm sorry. So I'm almost home, not quite. So I just need to do this real quick, because this has happened now. It's happened a lot, but the last two movies, I don't know, this has really drove me crazy. So I don't know what's going on with society. I don't know, if parents just aren't taking the time to teach manners. I don't know if we've just decided that manners are something we need to forego. I don't know what the thought process of, everyday people are outside of myself. But I feel that if parents are not going to do the job, and if your common sense and your basic feeling of human decency is not going to do the job, then I feel that I must now do the job. So I'm going to do a little PSA here, kind of like I did for my feelings on how, we have to teach children the proper way to refer to Star Wars movies. I feel like I must do this, and it's sad that I must do this, because again, this should be common sense. So please, everybody, listen to what I'm about to say. If you go to a movie theater, shut the hell up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Just shut your damn mouth. I'm sitting across from four bimbos who talked the entire damn movie. One of them called somebody, was having a conversation on her cell phone. Did your parents not take the time to raise you? I know we live in this egocentric universe that everybody believes they're the center of. But when you go to a movie theater, you are not the center of the damn universe. Shut your effing mouth. Watch the movie. If you have to feel like you are so damn stupid that you can't follow a plot and you need to construct a flowchart, take your dumb ass out of the theater and do it in the lobby. And for the other people from Split there, you are not a comedian. You are not on Mystery Science Theater. Okay? What you're yelling at the screen is not clever, it is not smart, and the people in the movie can't actually hear you. Shut your damn mouth. This is not difficult. This is not some kind of extreme mathematical equation that only Einstein or Stephen Hawking can get. It is this. See? See? So shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. And the incident tonight proves that that's not one group of people, it's everybody. It's everybody in this messed up little world of ours. I have paid good money to come to these crappy movies and watch them. Okay? I did not come for your conversation. Shut your damn mouth! I believe very strongly that the only time you should talk in a movie theater is the exact only time you should ever talk when you're backstage at a show. And that is when there is valuable, life-saving information that needs to be exchanged. Pardon me, Matt, your head seems to be on fire. And then Matt will put the fire out quietly and go on with life. Sorry, but that was bugging me. It was bugging me last week, and it's bugging me today because it's 2 movies in a row. And it happens every movie, really, but for some reason, these last 2, God, they just... Shut up! All right, man. Alright. So that kind of got off the rails there a little bit. Sorry. You know, sometimes you just feel like you gotta let that stuff out. So anyway, I'm gonna wash the bad taste of this one out of my mouth by tomorrow. The Matt Man and I are gonna go check out Resident Evil. So gonna go see a good old-fashioned zombie action flick. So can't wait for the review on that one. So I don't know why I'm turning that on. I'm about to turn this off. So yeah, sorry. It's not that I didn't like this one. It's just it didn't do it for me. It's not even good enough. It's not even bad enough to really hate. It's just disappointing. So if you get something out of it, bully. Well done. For me, can't back it. So till next time with zombie action film. Drive safe, and I'll see you at the movies. But for God's sakes, I don't want to hear you at the movies.